What's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to show you guys a command line utility called stat. Now, as I stated in the intro of the video, I wanted to show you guys the stat command, and this is one of those GNU core utility packages that provides a variety of information about files and file systems. And some of that information that it provides is like the file size, the inode location, access permissions, as well as like creation and modification times of a specific file or file system. So it's a super cool command, and it's tailored to people that work primarily in the terminal. Let's say you have a server that you have up and running, and you need to know how often files are accessed, or just get some basic information about a specific file on your system. This command is super cool and beneficial for that. So let's hop over to the terminal and walk through how to actually use this command. Okay, so I have the terminal up, and the first thing I like to do when I'm showing a terminal command is basically show you guys the man page, so we could read a little bit about the command so you can get a better understanding of how to actually use it. So let's run man and then stat, and that is the command that I'm talking about. So STAT, and it basically stands for statistics in my opinion. So let's press enter, and as you can see, the name states stat, display file or file system status, and synopsis. This is how you actually run the command. So as you can see, stat, then the option, and then the file name. And there are plenty of options you can actually run with this command, and I'll go through a few of them throughout the course of this video. But if you go down to the description area where it says display file or file system status, mandatory arguments to long options or mandatory for short options too. So that, and then here is the arguments that I was talking about. So you got dash capital L, that's dereference, so follow links, dash lowercase f for file system, display file system status instead of file status. And so you have to use that for file systems. And like I said, I'll go through and show you guys a few of the options. And then there are also some formats. You can modify the format of the results that are displayed to you based on what you want to see. So let's go down and quit this right fast, and I want to show you guys a couple options on how to actually use this command. So let's hit quit, and then I'll clear the terminal, and then we can start off by looking at a file using the stat command. And I have a test directory on my system that I want to just go in so I can quickly find the files. But so I'm a cd or change directory to that directory, and it's called test, and I'm gonna tab it out, but well, it's not gonna tab out because there's something else called test. That's why it didn't actually see it, but I'm in that directory, and then let's ls this directory right fast so we can see what's actually in it. And as you can see, it's a bunch of files, and I've used these files in the past for various videos, just basically showing people how to archive files or create archives, as well as messing around with CSVs and different files. So I'm gonna just look at these files as an example. Now let's start off by looking at just one of these random files. I'll look at the secure.txt. So let's type stat and then secure.txt. We don't have to use any options if you want to use the or look at the defaults. So let's press enter, and that'll give us that information that we were talking about, or the stat information that will come out. And as you can see, it's a lot of detailed information, and just to break it all down for you, you'll see the file name, that's the first one that says file, and then also you'll see the size, and the size is basically the file size, and it's in bytes. And then you'll also see the blocks, and this is the number of blocks on the hard drive reserved for this file, as well as the IO block, and this is the size of a block on the file system. And then also you should see the file type, or it says regular file, but this is the type of file. So as you can see, it states file right there, But if it was something different, it'll say something different there. It'll say like directory or file system, if it was a directory or file system. And then next we have the device, and this is the device where the file is located. And then you have your inode, and basically the inode is where the file is located as well, using the inode number. So, and then also links. Right here is basically the number of links to this file. So there's one link to this file. And then this is the cool part right here. It gives you the permissions. Yeah, you can get this using the ls command by typing ls and then add a couple options like la, and that'll give you some permission information. But it's cool to actually see it here because it breaks it all down for you a little bit further. This is the permissions for the file. So as you can see is 770. So that means rewrite execute for the owner, and then the group, and then the last one is the world. As you can see, there is no one else has access to it other than the user and anyone that's in that group. And then it also has the user ID. So that's my user ID on my system, which is 1000. Typically the first user account on the system other than the root account, it starts off at 1000. And then here is the group ID. So this is the ID of that actual group. Now let's cover the access information, or just basically information on what's going on with this file. Basically the detailed information. It's basically timestamps on when things were actually, or when things were accessed, as well as modified and then changed, and then the actual birth of the file. So as you can see, this thing was last accessed back in April on the 20th day, and it has the exact time, and I believe I might have recorded a video during that time, which is super cool. And the file was actually last modified, and this was like 2020 July 9th, and then that's the actual time that I actually accessed it right there, or modified it. And then the change, that's basically the change status. And then also this is when that actual file was created or birthed. That's why they call it birth. So that's basically when that file was created. And so I created this file back in November of 2020. And it's kind of weird because I may have either copied this file from something else and changed it, or changed the name of it or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So that's why the modification date is before the birth date of this file. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's why it looks like that. But that's the last time it was modified. Okay, so one of the next things I want to show you is a lot of people actually use this type of data in other applications. Let's say you want to parse it to the output to a different utility, like the awk command, which I covered a little while back. And you kind of want this information, put on one line. So let me show you guys this. It's actually the T option. So I'll show you guys that right now on that same file. So let's go stats and then -T, and then we can put the file in there. So it's secure.txt, press enter, boom. And as you can see, it comes on one line. And the reason it's going over to the next line because I have the text is wrapping because my terminal is kind of small, and I have it kind of zoomed in so you guys can see the text. But that's one line, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to use like the awk command after this, pipe it into awk, the output into awk, and pull out specific data from there, that is an option for you right there using the -T option. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is how to choose the format of the actual information that's presented to you from the stat command. So let's say you want to pull the modification dates, or let's say you want to pull just the file name and then the modification date, or let's say the access date, whatever. All of these different areas are represented by a variable. Like file is represented by the % and n, lowercase n, and that brings up the file name. So let me break down this format for you. I'm gonna clear the terminal so we can type it out right. But basically the command is stats and you have to use the option. It's basically print format, and I'll show you guys how to do it, but it's dash dash print and then F, and then you want to put equals, and then this is where you put the format that you want in here. So like I stated, we wanted to see the name and the modified date. So let's put the %, and then N, that's the name. And then in order to separate the different fields, you have to put a backslash and then the letter N again. And I know that looks kind of weird but that's how you actually do a break in the format. Now let's put the modification time, which is represented by the % and a lowercase y. So let's type that in, y, and then you have to kind of close it out. So I'm gonna put another backslash and an N, and then you want to put the double quotes to close that out. And lastly, you want to put the file name just like we normally would, which is secure.txt, and press enter, and that should print out just those fields that we requested. Now, as you can see, that's the name, and then also this is the modification date, so we good to go. Now, one problem with this is that it doesn't show the title or what this actually is. You actually have to know what it is, but you can actually modify the stat command again in here, and you can put your own titles for the fields that you want. And all you have to do is go in within the print format option, and then you can add some information in there. Let's say you want to specify that this is the name, and then you want to put a colon in front of it, and let's put a space there. So, and then also right here, this is the modification date. So let's say we want to put modified dates, we could put that in here as well. So let's go modified, and then let's put a colon in there as well, and then a space, and then that's the modified date or modified information right there. And you want to make sure you keep this in between as the separator, the / or the backslash and the N, because that's the separator for the actual information that you're trying to pull. So let's press enter, and this should have those names in there. It should have the name of the file, and then the actual name of the file, and then modified, and this will give you the modified date. So let's press enter, and we should have that information there, and it just looks cleaner with the space in there, but you don't have to put the space in there. You could put the %, right behind there, but the space just makes it look a little cleaner. And then you could do the same thing for anything else. Let's say you want to look at the time of birth instead of the modified. So let's go time of birth, so TOB, and then that variable is a W. So let's put that in there. So this is the time of birth, and we can press enter. And like I said, you could put your own custom little titles or headers for the information that you're pulling, because it doesn't show like that. I don't know if you guys remember, but it doesn't show like that when you pull the information from using the stat command with no options. And what you see is birth, and I just put TOB, you know what I'm saying? So we could have put birth in there as well, but that's one way to actually modify the format, and that's super cool. That's a great option for it. But this is mainly why I've used this command. It's because it's a great way to find the access, the modified, change, and birth information of a file, of a particular file. Okay, and lastly, I just wanted to show you guys how to look at a directory, and I'll show you guys that right fast. You can basically run stats, and then I believe there's some directories in there. I'm gonna tab it out. The sec directory. So sec and then dir, that directory, we can run a stat on that, and that'll give you the directory information. And as you can see, it's separated, or the difference you'll see is it says directory here versus when you normally pull it, it says regular file. That just shows you what it is, and then basically gives you all that same information, and it works pretty much the same on directories as files by providing that information that you need or whatever you're looking for this file or directory. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. This command will help you if you are a systems administrator or a Linux systems administrator, you know, to get information about files and directories as well as file systems. It's a super cool built-in utility. It will work in any Linux distribution. You should have this command built into the operating system. So I appreciate you checking out the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comment boxes below. And of course, keep it techie.